Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be working on some cars, getting some cars tuned up. Christian's on his way out here, and yeah, we're going to get to tuning on some things today. This is the first one that just got dropped off. Actually, to clarify, this car, the EG hatch that we worked on in the last video, I'm actually waiting on some parts for it, so once we get those parts in, hopefully we'll be able to fix this vtec issue, but until then, we are currently sitting in limbo, waiting for the parts to show up. So hopefully this week those will show up and we can get this EG hatch back on the dyno and hopefully making some VTEC and more horsepower. So anyways, this is the other one that just got dropped off. It's an EG coupe. It needs a couple finishing touches. Like I said, just got dropped off. It's a B18, little eBay kit on it. Just got to go through it and kind of touch some things up. It's running a chipped ECU, like I said, eBay kit. It's got the eBay boost controller on it, which we'll probably have to bypass or delete. I don't usually ever run these, just because they cause more harm than good most of the time. And just a couple other things on this car that I'm gonna have to tidy up. I'm gonna have to check all the fluids. I gotta tighten this wastegate because it's loose. So we'll have to just tighten this up. And then the return line on this car also is like looped and it runs upside down. So I'm gonna try to fix that return line on this car. And the intercooler piping is, yeah, it's not really hooked up down here. Oh, hopefully you can see. Yeah, so I gotta figure out the intercooler piping and just get that situated a little bit better than it is now, and then fix the return line. And then he's probably going to need to get a dump tube of some sort, but we'll probably just run it for now on the dyno. He said there's also another oil leak coming from the bottom somewhere. Like I said, we're just going to have to kind of check out the fluids, stuff like that. And he also wants to drain the pump gas out of here and put E85 in. So we'll probably be doing that as well. But first, I'm going to have to move some stuff around. And yeah, so this car, I'll probably just put in the corner for now until we get the parts for it. And then we'll put this thing on the lift so we can get at some of the other stuff. Just got done doing this 2016 Silverado as well. This thing was just came in for just a reflash. So I reflashed it, deleted the DOD, and then might talk him into doing some other things with it as well, because these newer trucks can actually wake up quite a bit. And I've had quite a bit of help from my buddy Mike. He's been helping me out with these newer HP tuner cars, so I'm hopefully going to be able to take on more of these things very soon. Hopefully Cavalier will be going together soon. I've just, you know, had excuses to not work on it. I've been trying to keep up with the website and doing these Hondas and stuff like that. I'm probably going to mark my website sold out here pretty soon because I can't find injectors. If you guys have any injectors, let me know, because I'm like out and the orders aren't slowing down. So if any of you have flex style or normal style truck injectors, I'm paying cash, PayPal, whatever, Venmo, Cash App, you name it, I'll pay it. Just so we can get some more injectors, and I keep them in stock so any of you guys can buy a set of flowed and matched truck injectors from me. I really appreciate all the business on the website that I've gotten so far, but I got to keep my stock up in order to keep the website going. So if anybody out there has them, let me know. If you got 5 of them or 500, I'll buy them. Well, I got some random parts here on the floor for my Duramax that I'm going to have to move out of the way so I can move these cars. Don't mind these wheels. Who knows what those are for? I don't know.
Right.
Who's this guy?
Oh, who's this guy?
So this is the next car that we're working on here. It's a DC Integra. And we're just kind of going through and getting this thing ready to strap down onto the dyno. Hopefully we can make a couple runs with it today, but we do have to figure out a few problems that kind of arised with it as it pulled off of the trailer. The downpipe we had to modify. So this is the downpipe after modification. This is the downpipe that was on the car. So it was kind of just held up with some zip ties, and it was scraping on the ground because a lot of these eBay downpipes, you know, they just don't fit worth a shit. So yeah, it didn't really fit that well. So, and he had to like re-zip tie his intercooler back on because it ripped off on the trailer. So he just went through and tightened up all the clamps and stuff like that. We might have to put a zip tie or something to hold this up so it doesn't rub on nothing. So yeah. Anyways, we need an O2 sensor to be able to tune this thing. So I took the downpipe off, or it was already off, and I cut it down and I installed just a bung on there so we can at least put the dyno wideband in there in order to get some air fuel readings. And yeah, also changing the spark plugs on it. We pulled the spark plugs and it had some auto lights in it, which auto lights are probably the best plug in the world. Just kidding. These belong in a Ford. Ford. Fixed or repaired daily. First on race day. Whatever type of Ford person you are. I actually like the newer Fords. Older Fords, not so much. So anyways, we're going to put some Hunter-tuned NGK BKR7E spark plugs in here. We're going to gap them down to 18 thousandths because might as well just go all the way down right away. It's not really going to affect it. Anything lower than 18, you may have some, you know, stuttering and stuff at idle. I mean, sometimes we gap these plugs the thickness of a razor blade if we're running a stock distributor and stuff. Get every ounce of every ounce of spark we can out of that stock igniter in that distributor. So it's just a regular LS B18B with a eBay kit, and yeah, typical downpipe fitment here where it just shoots right at the radiator. It's kind of a typical thing. We have the eBay oil restrictor on here on this turbo, so that might be an issue. I usually recommend guys run the 3AN oil lines on these eBay turbos. Anything journal bearing, I run 3AN line with no restrictor. That seems to be the ticket to keeping these turbos alive. Them little restrictors are for ball bearing turbos, and they don't put enough oil into these journal bearings. So we'll hopefully not explode that turbo today, but we're just going to get these plugs installed. And yeah, hopefully we don't run into any other issues. I say that now, but I don't know. So like I said, we just made the downpipe. Vacuum lines are good. We'll probably have to set the ignition timing on it. It's a little low on fuel. Hopefully we don't run out. And he says he's got some oil leaks going on, so hopefully we don't run out of oil too. But we're just gonna send it, you know what I mean? We'll keep an eye on the oil level. Obviously, if it's leaking out crazy fast, we're not gonna be able to tune it, but if it's just dripping here and there, we might be able to get a tune on it so he can go home and fix some of the other issues that it's got going on. I'm down to fix little things here and there, you know, spark plugs, make a downpipe. No big deal. But yeah, so we'll go from there. This car is on Hondata, and it has a set of Bosch 440cc injectors, which I thought were going to be a low impedance injector because they are the fat body style and they almost look like they're DSM injectors. But I ohmed them out with my multimeter and they came back at 12 ohms. So that means they are a high impedance injector and we do not need a resistor box. But if they were low impedance and we didn't have a resistor box, we could risk, you know, kind of burning out that injector driver in the computer. So that's why I always check the injector resistance on, you know, injectors that I don't know. Most of the cars that are coming in lately all have my injectors in them, but this one, you know, just wanted to double check that. All right, so now we'll get the downpipe bolted back on, get my dyno wideband installed, and then we'll be able to pull it onto the dyno, hopefully. All right, guys, so we got the downpipe installed. The Hunter-tuned Fab O2 bung is in there. Got the dyno wideband hooked up. He just checked the oil, it was good. I'll check the coolant, make sure that it's good, it's full, okay? We'll move on here. We got the ECU plugged in right now, and we have to register his Hondata because he hasn't even plugged into it yet. So what I'm doing is I'm on the Hondata, and I'm registering his device. So I have to go in here and hit update registration. I'm gonna have to type in his information and then hit next, and then you have to be online to do this so you can register with Hondata. So I'm gonna type in all this information, get this thing registered so we can actually upload a file onto the computer, because currently we can't even upload a file onto here. It's currently in limp mode. So the check engine light stays solid. It just doesn't work. It's not happy. So we have to get her dialed. All right, so we got the owner details all done here, and now we're just doing the registration. This is definitely we're driving this car in Mexico, so we're outside the US, and now we can hit next. We cannot drive this car in the US. It won't allow us to register it, so we had to move to Mexico. So we're just making sure that's all good. Go through here. Internet connection is required. That's fine, because I have my phone is actually my hotspot right now. So, and now it says S300 successfully registered with Hondata, so we hit OK. And then we can go here and upload this file. So now, there we go. Now when the file is uploaded, we'll just make sure that we have, you know, the basics covered here. O2 sensors are off. You know, knock sensors, car doesn't have that. So we'll go through here, and now we'll cycle the key back and forth. Make sure the check engine light goes off now, which it does. We'll hit the logger. Oh, came unplugged for a second. We'll hit the log. Make sure no other codes come up, which nothing's coming up right now. So if we go to display, we can kind of check out some of this stuff to make sure it's all reading okay. So currently the map sensor is reading good, the coolant temp's reading, the intake air temp is reading. Air fuel is not going to, because there's no sensor hooked into there. Battery voltage is good, and then we'll have to just sync our TPS. So while we're logging, we're going to go through and do the same thing we did on the last couple cars. We'll just go through here and get the endpoints of the TPS set. So I'm going to get in the car, start doing that stuff, and then we'll get it fired up, and hopefully it'll run a lot better. Alright, so this thing's all ready to go. We got the Hondata registered, we got the TPS set up. Ignition timing is set, car's strapped down onto the dyno. The gear ratio is all set thanks to Christian. Hey. And now we're just going to have to get an extension cord to plug the fan in, which Christian's on top of that. Nice. So now we're going to plug her in and, I don't know, give it a rip and see what it does. I got the tune-up kind of dialed, cruising right now, idle. Just drove it around a little bit on the dyno, but you guys don't care about none of that shit. All you want to hear is go, wah! Yeah. So here we go. Let's go, wah! Let's try it out. Let's see where this tune-up ends up, and, you know, hopefully it makes boost and doesn't have issues with the boost control or anything like that. Hopefully the wastegate's good. Hopefully, also, I have to change my camera angle here, because when I shine the camera from that side, the car is super dark. It gets blown out. Yeah, so the car gets blown out. There we go. That looks a wee bit better. How does that look? Oh, that looks better. I like it. Okay. I mean, it's still a little bit dark, so I'm sorry, but...
Alrighty guys, so, oh Jesus. So, right now, we have a nice curve here. First run was 188 horse and 212 torque, and then that second hit was 218, 237. He's only revving it out to like, what'd you say, like 52, 50?
It was a little lean. I pulled fuel out of it because the first time was like a 920 air fuel. It was really fat. So I'm slowly just pulling fuel out of it and getting a little more RPM. It's kind of sketchy because this map sensor is reading, like the stock map sensor only read like 11 pounds of boost. And we're about capping the map sensor right now. So, I'm about to hit 11 pounds of boost. But typically on like a set of 450cc injectors, which these are, 100% duty cycles around 300 wheel. We're around 68% right now, so it makes sense. Yeah. We're kind of at for power, so I'm kind of trusting that it is kind of around 10 pounds. I'm hoping we can crack a little bit more power out of it this time. I don't know. It drives pretty good though. I mean, there's a couple little areas of cruising yet that I could probably dial in, but so far so good. Yeah, hopefully it's still got oil in it and it'll keep going.
Yeah.
So let's do another one. Alright guys, so we are continuing here.
I can't see what's going on. There we go.
You like my new camera?
I do. I really like this thing.
So we are moving on here. We are running really conservative ignition timing in this car right now because he told me he's got some chump gas in it, 87 or some garbage. So we got to try to at least get 91 or 93 in it before he goes out and beats the daylights out of this thing. And I'm only got 12 degrees of ignition in it right now, which is way too conservative. So we're gonna put 2 in it and see how it responds. We're only gonna put 2 degrees in it above 7 pounds and above like 3,600 RPM. If it doesn't like it, we're definitely octane limited. If it continues to grow in power, then we know that we're not quite at the octane limit of the fuel, but I'm assuming it's not gonna take much ignition. Yeah, we're gonna try that and kind of see where we go, where it goes from there.
The last hit, we are, ta-da, right, I'm running out a little bit more. As you can see, we're at 241, 242, so we're getting there. Definitely getting there. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There's a bald eagle over there. You know what that means?
Bald eagle, man.
Bald eagles!
That's awesome.
No.
Yeah, he ran to the car, so woo!
You scared the shit out of me.
Scared the shit out of me too.
No, sorry.
It's a big ass bird.
That was fucking huge.
I think we just blew oil out of the dipsticks.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Out of where?
The dipstick tube.
Where is the dipstick? Is it still in there?
In between the, no, it's not.
That's
That acts as a cap.
Did you just... Oh, you left it out?
Yeah,
oh.
that acts as a cap.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to put it back.
Done freaking everybody
I
out.
got twice here on that one. I think down, so that worked.
Yeah.
When I hit the limiter and pumped oil off.
I saw this one.
Oh shit, I thought you were running for the extinguisher.
Oh, fuck no.
I thought he hit the limiter.
I was about dying, dude.
No, hell no. Yeah.
Made a little more that time.
Yeah?
55. That's probably tapped, so I don't want to give it anymore.
255, 247 on that one. It's not looking too bad.
Alright guys, so we just made 255 wheel horsepower. I added a little bit of ignition timing and kind of got it flattened out a little bit. You know, these cars, non-vtec obviously, so it's just kind of coming up and just leveling. I've been trying to feed, you want to compare the last run actually and see where it picked up power. So you can tell just by the way it is. Just kidding. So if you can tell from the blue and the purple here, you can tell where I added that ignition timing. So above like 5K, it got a lot happier. But I really don't want to push it much farther. It's got, well actually look at the data log here. Christian just saw a ball. Did you get that on camera?
I think so.
Oh, sweet. They like went running and I'm like, oh great, is the car on fire or something? But we're good. So if we go on our graph here and we kind of check out what's going on with this thing, we are running, that run was 17 degrees of ignition at 10 pounds of boost, which typically you can run right around 20 pounds or 20 degrees at 10 pounds, but I don't really want to push this thing that much farther just because it is on Chump gas. If it was on ethanol or something like that, I would, you know, give it a little bit more timing, but for the couple horsepower we're going to get, it's probably not worth it. But that time, we did pick up 15 wheel horsepower from a couple of degrees of timing. So, yeah, this thing's running good. It should be good to go for him. He's going to have to tidy up some loose ends on it, obviously. And, you know, just figure out the rest of the stuff with the car, you know, make sure it's safe and stuff like that. We got her tuned up, got the Hondata registered for him, and made some great horsepower. So 255 horsepower out of this little thing on 87 octane. Not too bad. Honestly, I'd be pretty happy with that. So maybe he'll put some better fuel in it, come back, and maybe we can crack 300. Or get a set of bigger injectors and try E85. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it, guys. Thanks for watching the video. We will catch you next time. Tune in. We'll be tuning some more Hondas and fixing some other junk sitting around the shop. Have a great night and better tomorrow. Thanks for Christian for coming out today, and we will see you guys later.